The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Taco Comfort Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to my State of Mind. I am Dan York. The college basketball season has started. The sports world is hanging on. Baseball was able to have a modified season. The NFL keeps picking up the COVID pieces and tackling and running on through. And the college basketball season here is fanless, and in Rhode Island, sports writerless, at least in the building. The lead sports writer in college basketball in this state for the longest time has been Kevin McNamara. He has left the Providence Journal, but he has his own website, kevinmacsports.com, and he's here this evening to talk to us about the nature of his change, and then, of course, COVID and the basketball season. The tough news was for Brown University and the entire Ivy League, they had to cancel because they just didn't want to battle the COVID. Here's what Yanni reported on 12 News, and then we'll talk to Kevin.
Brown men's basketball is still riding high after Saturday's buzzer-beating upset win over rival Harvard.
That's why we work as hard as we do. That's why the guys are here playing Division I basketball. That's why they've worked as hard as they have their entire lives for moments like that.
Make that 4 straight wins now for the Bears. Momentum they will certainly carry with them into this weekend against Penn and Princeton.
We're just going to lock in and focus up on our first game on Friday because that's most important. That's the task in front of us.
You know, they present a ton of challenges to any opponent, both offensively and defensively. Steve Dunny is a terrific coach, and you know, we're going to have our hands full going down there for sure.
Up first on Friday night, it's a date with Penn at historic Palestra, the same place in which Brown's season ended a year ago, adding even more motivation to an already important game as Bruno looks to reach the Ivy League playoffs.
Certainly have vivid memories of that night.
Keeping that chip on our shoulder in practice, and you know, hopefully it shows up in the game, and you know, we execute the way we want to.
Brown has split this road trip each of the last 3 years, making their preparations vital if they want to have success.
You know, it's going to be a big weekend for the Ivy League, and we're just hoping to separate ourselves from everybody else.
So we're right where we want to be with 8 games left, and you know, we just take it practice by practice, drill by drill. Keep getting better every time we're together. With
the Bears, Maury Hirsch-Gordon, Eyewitness Sports.
We just want to compete, and we want to give it our all. It's been a while since we've hung up a banner for Ivy League championship, and you know, that's one of our goals. So we keep that mindset for every practice, every drill that we do, and then we carry that into the games.
We understand that we have a chance to, you know, make Brown history, so we're just taking it one game at a time, starting off with Penn on Friday. You know,
last time we were in that building, our season, you know, basically ended. We played in the postseason, we had a good experience, but our season ended because, you know, they beat us.
So a guy we all rely on for all that is basketball and other sports news, Kevin McNamara. So glad to have you. You obviously are in hotel room as we speak.
There's not a lot of hotel art here in Asheville, North Carolina, so I have the ultimate blank screen. I've been on too many Zooms throughout the last 7 months where, like, my bed is the background. We can't have that. That's not happening. Not for the Dan York show.
That's way too intimate. So thanks. It's great to see you. You know, we just finished with the story of Mike Martin in the Ivy League not playing, and I want to get into all of this college sports, professional sports attempt to fight through COVID. But before we even get into that, let's spend a little bit of time talking about you and what's gone on. It was very bad news for sports fans all across the region to see that you'd left the Journal. What do you want to say about that? And we'll talk about your new project.
Yeah, I left the Journal on May 1st after 30 plus years. I really enjoyed my time at the Journal, had a great run. I think in the dominant times of newspaper, I caught the very end where everybody had a newspaper in the late 80s, early 90s. And then obviously the business has gradually transferred online or elsewhere throughout my run. And we all know that the Journal has had, you know, layoffs and buyouts continually for the last 10 plus years, and I was a victim of that. So took some time, talked to a lot of friends, talked to Dan York, among others, and chose to reinvent myself, kind of doing the same thing that I was doing for the Journal and created my own website, kevinmacsports.com, and launched it in October. So we're going up on 2 months now. Heavy college basketball. That's what people know me for here in Rhode Island. Heavy PC fans, URI for sure. I hope to branch out into other things, but be honest with you, this is not a newspaper. It's a website. It's very hyper local. I want to target my audience and bring subscribers what they're really looking for. And also building the brand. People know my name. They used to see me in one place. Now they have to find me at another place, kevinmacsports.com. That's the challenge. There's a lot of marketing that, be honest with you, that's not my forte, but I've learned an awful lot on the fly. It's social media marketing. You don't have to pay a dime, in all honesty, but you have to get in front of people's eyeballs online. And, I have a big Twitter following. Facebook is Facebook. Instagram, I don't know. Is Dan York big on Instagram? It's not my forte just yet, but I'm told I need to get on Insta.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the one thing about you news writers is you're very conducive to the Twitter thing for sure. I mean, the way you guys type, and whether you're on the news side or the sports side, the way you guys type and the way you have been conditioned already over season after season to literally give a blow-by-blow of what's happening during a game is great preconditioning for the use of that media. People know to follow you on those places for a quick hit as to what's happening in the game. And so you've got Bill Koch from the Journal, who thankfully is still there. You've built that condition. So I'm guessing that the social media will certainly be a boost. Old dogs like you and me, learning tricks, not the easiest thing in the world, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, no, it's a good point about the games. Last night Providence played Davidson in Asheville, and I'm the only one here at the game from Rhode Island. It's interesting because post-game, Ed Cooley and Nate Watson are on Zoom, so I can look back and I see Bill Koch and Brendan McGear and all the TV guys in Providence, and they're in their offices or on their couches, basically getting the coach and Nate Watson for free. And I'm here, and that's not going to last forever. This is the first time in the history of the world that you can do post-game from Zoom on your couch. So I'm not quite sure where this goes going forward, but I will say that during games, the activity on my Twitter feed is great. I mean, fans arguing back and forth. I'm not being the referee. I'm just kind of throwing updates and chum to them, in all honesty, to get them fired up, and it works. We need to transition those people, if they really want the full coverage post game and in between games, to come to my website.
So kevinmacsports.com, go buy it. You'll be happy you did. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into some discussion of what this whole thing is like, and it's quite the discussion. We'll be right back with Kevin McNamara, My State of Mind. Stay with us. With Kevin McNamara, a renowned college sports and football and columnist, writer, formerly of the Providence Journal, now kevinmacsports.com. Well, we started the broadcast with this package on the Ivy League that had said, "That's it, no mas." I thought that might have been a repeat of the cycle that we saw in March, Kevin, when the Ivy League was first to say, we're done in postseason. They canceled the postseason tournament, and they were kind of poo-pooed for about 36 hours when all of a sudden it just completely unraveled, and guys were at courtside with microphones like this, and watching teams pack up, literally.
Said you're out. Yeah.
It's like, well, we're here at Madison Square Garden for the second round of the Big East. Where's everybody going, right? Tell me about what that was like, and tell me about whether or not you think the Ivy League is still kind of ahead of the thinking here.
Well, needless to say, I'll remember that week. That was a couple days, those 36, 48 hours, the rest of my life. I was in New York. The Ivy League had already pulled the plug on its tournament. And I was one of the first ones to say, short-sighted, unfair to the kids, worked all season, need to have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament, etc. And then we're in New York, and the Big East played on Wednesday night, a doubleheader, full doubleheader, fans, all good. And then I go out at night, had 2 nephews in town, and the big news came across the crawl. The NBA, Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz, tested positive for the virus, and the NBA, within 2 minutes, shut down, suspended its season. Boom, NHL, the Players' Championship at TPC, and then we hear, well, the Big East is going to continue, the college basketball is going to continue with no fans, limited fans. We wake up on Thursday morning, boom, boom, one's pulling the plug after the next. The Big East actually was playing a half. They were the only ones to actually throw the ball up, St. John's and Creighton. And then at halftime, they pull the plug. And 2 hours later, the NCAA tournament pulls the plug. And Kevin Max in New York City trying to make sense of it all. My wife saying, when are you coming home? I'm in my hotel room trying to file stuff for my report. And I stayed one more night, and I got on the train the next day and said, wow, I might have COVID. I'm in New York City. A week later, I would have been freaked out. That day, I was just happy to be home.
Yeah, I will tell you, it was the way the sports world unraveled, I think, added to the trauma. Rather than thinking through and prepping and making this, the way it unraveled in front of us, I mean, God forbid it was not 9/11 in terms of that trauma, watching that attack of America live, but it was a mini version of it in terms of psychology, whether you were a sports fan or not, to see these established institutions of sports, but established institutions folding up in front of you. It freaked us out.
Yeah, it was a panic. We've learned so much about the virus and dealt with, Dr. Fauci and all these terms over the last 6 months. We know a lot. At that point in March, it was panic, and we thought it was a killer. If you got it, you could die. And that's just not the case. Monday morning quarterback, would we have played the NCAA tournament? No, we just couldn't. People were not ready to leave their houses. The shutdown went on pretty much right away or within a week or so. It was a different time. I think everyone made the right call. But to your point, very first question, the Ivy League, somehow they were ahead of the curve at the time. I feel they may have missed the boat this time with 8 months of education going forward.
Yeah. So the Ivy League cancels. And so it feels kind of like a complete crapshoot right now. One of the announcers, actually, I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry, working remotely on the piece.
Yeah.
Last night, said, "Hey, listen, it's a thrill for these kids to be playing. You got to play every day like it's your last one, because this season it might be. It still might be. Do you think that they're going to make it? Do you actually think that?" Let's break it down, because the NFL is deep in, and it's unraveling all the time, and all they're doing is picking up the pieces and keep games together. Let's talk about college basketball, since that's your main line. Do you think they're going to make it?
I do think they're going to make it, because the NCAA has to make it. So the NCAA tournament is worth roughly $800 million to the schools. The NCAA is the holding property. It takes in its TV money and its gate money from the tournament and disperses it to every conference. That's how it works. Last year, the $800 million was $300 million. So that's a big hit. They cannot repeat that. Literally, the office of the NCAA may close or shutter to too small of a window, and the smaller conferences around the country literally need that money. They need that money. The NCAA tournament will happen in March. If it doesn't happen in March, they'll just keep delaying it. The question is, how do the teams get from today to March? The NCAA made, I think, the right call and reduced the season from 30 games to 25, but they said you only have to play 13 to qualify for the NCAA tournament. So basically, we have 3.5 months to play 13 games. Well, URI, for example, has already played 4. Providence has already played 3. Could Providence come up with a positive tests in the next week and have to pause for 2 weeks and miss 3 games? Absolutely. But barring that happening multiple times, they're going to get to 13 games. Now, whether that's enough to get into the NCAA tournament, we'll see. But the NCAA says its minimum is 13 games, and if Duke is 12-1, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good place to pause, because when we come back for our final segment, we're going to talk about what it's really like. Because guess what? Duke's home court advantage last night, not so much. Kevin McNamara, the website is kevinmacsports.com. Right back. Kevin McNamara, kevinmacsports.com is the new place to find all of his outstanding reporting here. First of all, ironically, we're recording this on Wednesday morning. You may see it again later in the week, our conversation here on the weekend. But I'm scheduled to do what I've done now for the 9th year. That is be the public address announcer at URI at the Ryan Center.
Yeah.
I don't need a microphone. It's, there's nobody in the building, but you'll hear me echoing, I guess, in the Ryan Center on college sports, CBS college sports cable versus Seton Hall. I don't know what it's going to be like. Frankly, I think it's too weird. But I'm a company guy, and I'll do my thing. You've already experienced it. How weird is it?
It's weird. There's no question. There's this old downtown arena here in Asheville, North Carolina. The players and the teams and the officials, and I'd say less than 10 support people are on the floor. The media, the TV cameras are upstairs. We have no access. I have not seen Ed Cooley or any of the players face-to-face for 3 days. I won't, barring Zoom. That said, I am really happy I'm in the gym. As a basketball person, I can see and learn and know so much more than watching on TV. It's not even close. I think you appreciate that, Dan, more than anybody else. And right now, for example, when I go back to Providence, Providence is not letting local media in to its games at Alumni Hall. URI is not letting its local media into the Ryan Center. I think that needs to change. They have second floors. Just put us upstairs on the second floor. And again, we have no contact with players, coaches, or anyone else who has to remain virus-free. And obviously we have masks on at all times. There's masks everywhere. I think it's, and I actually spoke with somebody from Providence last night. Literally, they're getting tested every day.
Well,
here in Asheville.
I will tell you, I think the sports world, I don't know. Listen, most of my work is outside the sports world, right? So I have a different type of perspective on it. We can't get frontline doctors and nurses the testing that is necessary. People in nursing homes who are working in dangerous situations, people in grocery stores working in dangerous situations every single day, but as professional and collegiate athletes. Somewhere along the line, someone's got to say something about that. Do you have a thought?
No, I'm with you. I fly back to Rhode Island. My governor says I have to quarantine, number one, and my wife says, number two, I need a test. I was up at 4 a.m. last night to go online and make sure I got a test on Friday. So I have my test, a day after I land. It was difficult. I had to wake up in the middle of the night to get my reservation. Nate Watson gets one every day after breakfast, for free. So is it upside down? Of course it is. That said, because of our president or our government, our testing is upside down. It's never been as smooth as it should be. It's a free-for-all. College athletics and professional athletics have used their money and their weight to secure testing. Maybe every hospital in the country should have been just as aggressive.
If they have the resources.
It's expensive. But it's also clearly a priority, and maybe should have been priority number one. I have a sister who's a nurse in East Greenwich. She works with little babies, and she has the full PPE on every day. She should get tested every day, and she's not able to.
Listen, remember hospitals and medical facilities lost every other dime when COVID dominated the facilities, every other procedure that is profit-oriented in health, went away. So it's a very complicated economic formula. I think you're right. We're not going to sit here and do a two-step on the exiting president, but he clearly fell down, and Washington's fallen down, and we don't have a national program. I only have a couple of minutes. What's your we really didn't get to, hey, who's going to, how are they going to survive? But give me 30.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Right? Who knows? But isn't that how you kind of go into this whole thing? Home court advantages are nil. I mean, Duke got belted in their own building, which would never have happened with the crazies there. Everything feels like it's up in the air. We have a minute, Kev. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, everything's different. For the actual basketball fan this year, I can tell you right now, the players are so happy to play. After not being able to be with their teammates and their coaches most of the summertime, an awful lot of coach programs weren't together. To be together and have the chance to be normal and play, that's what they're excited about. The fans, no fans, it is what it is. But the fans at home, I can't wait to see the ratings on ESPN and Fox and whatnot and see how many fans are watching, because it's an outlet. And, I don't know. I watch, but I'm a groupie. I'm a crazy. I'm going to watch everything. I'll be really curious to see how it is. And I will say, hopefully your team can get to March and get into the NCAA tournament. And that NCAA tournament, if it's in one city like they want to do it, Indianapolis, all 64 teams, Kevin Mack Sports has to find a way to get to Indianapolis. That would be unbelievable.
It would be some tournament. All right, well, listen, we'll keep the conversation going over the course of the winter on both platforms, on the radio and the TV.
Sure.
KevinMackSports.com is the new site to find your lead college journalists in sports here.
Thank you, Dan.
Stay safe.
You too.
Get that test Friday morning. Don't forget, or you're not going in the house.
I'll be there.
We'll have a final word when we come back. Stay with us. We'll keep up with the sports world through Kevin and the other sports writers who are finding ways to do their jobs, like all of us, finding new ways to do their jobs. You have a great night. Talk to you on the radio at 3 until 6 on WPRO. Thanks for tuning in.